This week we are looking at different storms found in the Bible. We experience so many different storms in life. We may experience them in our jobs, in our relationships, maybe in our finances, or even in our health. We know that God is not the author of our storms, but we also know that we need to go through these storms, and how we react to them is so important. I'm looking at a storm that we know found in Matthew chapter 14. Jesus has been preaching all day. He sends his disciples off on a boat and says, "I'll see you on the other side." And in verse 23, we see what happens at 4 in the morning. Jesus comes to them walking on the water. Verse 26 says, they screamed in terror, for they thought it was a ghost. But Jesus immediately spoke to them, reassuring them. "Don't be afraid," he said. Then Peter called to him, "Sir, if it is really you, tell me to come over to you walking on the water." "All right," the Lord said, "come along." So Peter went over the side of the boat and walked on the water towards Jesus. But when he looked around at the high waves, he was terrified and began to sink. "Save me, Lord," he shouted. Instantly, Jesus reached out his hand and rescued him. What a beautiful picture. You know, when you're going through a storm in life, so often we do these courageous things. We see how God comes through for us. We have our eyes focused on Jesus. And like Peter, we get out of these boats and we start walking on the water. I know when I had my health issues, I did the most courageous things. I went on special diets. I had to do treatments that in my own physical strength I felt I couldn't do. But God was with me and I felt I was walking on water. But then in our natural realm, we start to look at the wind, the waves, the doctor's reports, maybe the medicines we're on, or maybe even just start listening to the people around us instead of God. And we start to sink. What storm are you facing today? Are your eyes fixed on Jesus, where you are doing courageous things like stepping out of boats and walking on water? Or have you started to look at the wind and the waves and the circumstances you are in? I love the part where it says when Peter cried out, Jesus instantly reached out his hand. I want to tell you this morning, Jesus is instantly reaching out his hand to you, reminding you that he is with you. He's going to get you out of the storm. He's right there with you, and you are able to get back safely to the boat with him at your side. Don't look at the wind and the waves. Keep your eyes fixed on Jesus and do courageous things with him today. Always remember that this storm is going to pass and that you are highly favored and deeply loved.